back. We are glad you have joined us. We've got a special episode and an awesome guest that I'm super excited to be sitting down. Before we get started, before you even hear anything, do us a favor. Make sure that you like, that you subscribe, you hit those notifications, share this link with a friend. I promise you, even if you listen for just a little bit, you got something that you can take away, learn, and grow from. And if not, you can just laugh at us, and that's fine too. But Aaron, here we are yet again. I'm really excited about today's episode.
No, today's going to be awesome, man. We had I won't share anything yet. I don't know. The camera's probably still on me only.
Yes, so, hopefully.
We've had a guest in working with our team, and he was nice enough to come in and shoot a podcast with us, so we got an outside perspective. You don't just have to listen to us blab today, which is the awesomeness.
Yeah, that's always fun. You know, this is real, live, and living proof. We always talk about how we invest into three areas. We invest into our business, we invest into our team members, and we invest into our community. And this was an investment that we chose to make. And with us in studio today, we've got Mr. Dashaun Bryant. How are you, my friend?
I'm phenomenal, man. I appreciate y'all having me. It's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be here. And it's been dope working with the team for the last 2 days, man. So I've really been enjoying myself. And this probably hands down, I ain't saying this because of y'all, probably one of the best offices I've been in, man.
Oh, that's cool. We really appreciate that.
I'm smiling like on the
Nah, it's dope.
That's cool.
Aaron can tell you when he was introducing me, I'm like, what? Like, I didn't know all this stuff was hiding back here. I was super impressed.
Yeah, that's cool. So you have an awesome job and an awesome responsibility. You can share some of your background, but again, you're here with us working with our sales team on their development and helping them become not just better sales guys, but listening on your presentation. What I love the most about it is these guys will be better dads, better husbands, and significant others because of the ideas and the concepts that you bring along with yourself.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to help people become better people, right? Because if you spend more time working on yourself than your business get easier. But if you spend more time working on your business and not working on yourself, then your life get harder.
Yeah.
So it's like spend more time working on you.
Yeah.
And then everything else around you gets a little bit easier. Parenting get easier. Running your business get easier. Being a husband getting easier. So I teach these guys, the ultimate goal is to teach them practical principles, strategies, and tactics that they can take away and be a better dad, be a better salesperson, like you said, be a better husband, just overall be a better person. Because I'm a firm believer that you're selfish if you don't work on yourself. Because now you're giving everybody else around you like the lousy version of you instead of you waking up, taking care of yourself, priming the mind, getting everything in order. Now everybody around you get the best version of you, and that's what the people in your life deserve.
Yeah, that's good. That's really well said.
Yeah, that's it's kind of cool because I followed you for a while. We've met a few times at different events and stuff, and I was like, I want him to come in and really work with the team and get them better. That's one of the avenues that we haven't had to, like one of the main things that you teach is door knocking. And we haven't had to do that much because we've had storm after storm. I'm a pretty good marketer. We've got a lot of leads. But then last year we didn't have any storms at all. And so, we had to navigate that. And we were like, hey, we got to start, knocking some doors and do different things. So had you come in. But the first thing that you did, and this was nothing I was expecting, but you really broke down the psychology of the mind and what you need to do, what you need to focus on, because as you told me in another conversation, like you can teach them all they want, but if they don't want to do it once you leave, then they're not going to, and it's not going to matter about anything. So you have to go in and say, hey, this is why you want to do these things, because you want to do better for your family, because you want to do this, and you don't blame other people. You're responsible for everything that you do. So, I mean, that was really cool. I sat in there. I was taking notes in the back of the class, man.
I don't have my notebook with me, but get your mind right, get your grind right.
Hey, man, get your mind right so you can get your grind right, and your grind won't peak because your mind weak,
Yeah.
So, I think I work with a lot of companies, and the gap is companies try to change their guys' behavior without changing the mindset.
Yeah.
And the behavior follows the mind don't follow behavior. Right? So it's like if you don't come in and open up the mind on day one, because I don't work with some companies, it's like, oh man, we had guys come out, but you had a different impact on our team than other people. And I say, yeah, because I'm not just trying to come in and train your people. First and foremost, I got to earn their respect. Right. Yep. And so how you earn their respect, you got to show them that I was where you was at too. I'm not a corporate guy. I'm not coming in here and white collaring you. It's like I'm knocked the doors too. I've had the nose. I did all these things. So we come in and then we challenge them as men. Most men don't get challenged in their life. Like me and Aaron was talking, I was like, we do the 3 keys of maturity, and it's like, are you a mature man? And no man like looking at them like, yeah, I'm mature. They like, oh shit, am I mature? Man, I got a problem with submission. I got a problem with obedience. I don't like to do things that other people tell me. So now we challenge them as a man. So we break them down to build them back up. So on Thursday, you got to come in and shake them up, open up the mind. Now the mind open. So now the rest of the weekend is 10 times easier to just pour information into them. So we change the mindset, and then the mindset changed the behaviors.
Yeah. You've got a really fun background, and I'm sure that a lot of your followers might even get to listen to this. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I know you've given your background in a lot. But just to kind of level set with our audience a little bit about where you come from and why you do what you do.
Yeah, so I've been a door-to-door salesman for the last 8 years. Got into this thing by mistake, never applied for it. Just had a friend that was like, I think you'll be great at this. And I'm like, all right, I'm down. And I've just always been easy to talk to white people, black people, Hispanic people. It didn't matter. I've always loved people. So turns out they called me into the office. They give me a makeshift interview. You know them interviews where like you interview your friend and you make it seem like you interview him.
Yeah.
But
The job's already there.
You know what I'm saying? He already has a job. So they give me one of those and they give me a script and they say, go home and learn it. Come back the next day and they just take me out in the field and we go out there the first day. We get a deal. And the next day they're like, all right, now you go do it. I'm like, huh? They're like, yeah, just go do it. I'm like, all right. And I just went out there, winged it for like 2 years straight. You know what I'm saying? Just selling off pure charisma. Got lucky because people just liked me.
Yeah.
So I sold off charisma my first year. And then like 2 years into the game, I met a homeowner that just changed my life, man. And also I got conned into training. What do I mean by that? My first owner would be like, hey, can you train the new guys? And I'm like, well, it's like, well, I ain't gonna be in town this week. So I need you to take them through. And I'm like, well, it don't sound like I got a choice. It's not like you're telling me to train them. So I started doing that, seeing people win, and that started becoming my addiction. Which is like, I want to see other people win. I know how to win. How can I get other people to win? So I meet a homeowner my second year. He's like, man, you good? Who your coaches? Who your mentors? And I'm like, nobody. This is just God-given talent. And he told me to go look up a guy named Grant Cardone, which at this point in life, everybody know who Grant Cardone is. At that time, I didn't know who he was. And he just said some things I ain't never heard in my life, man. Just the way he was talking, like, you don't got a money problem, you got an income problem. Like, it ain't that you can't make money, you don't make enough money. And it just started really changing the way I looked at life because I've never heard nobody talk like that. You know, my whole life, you go get a job, the 40-40 plan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Work a job for 40 years and you retire when you're 60. And he was just saying things I never heard. And he said, every industry got a gap. If you can fill the gap, you'll make a lot of money. And I paid attention and I was like, I can't be the only guy that got took out 2 days and then just thrown to the wolves.
That's pretty common in the roofing industry.
It's standard for our industry, which is sad because I'm 8 years in and it's still a standard.
Yeah.
Which is nuts to me. It's like, y'all still hiring people and praying that they just got it or they don't. So we created a YouTube channel. We put out free content. And I learned that from my kid's mom because she was pregnant. And when she was pregnant, she found a pregnant community. And I'm like, what is a pregnant community? It's like girls on YouTube that's pregnant talking about their pregnancy. And then she started like changing her hair. And then she found a hair community. I'm like, it's a hair. So I started learning. I'm like, it's communities on YouTube. If I can create like a roofing community, it got to be a roofing community.
Yeah.
So we created the YouTube channel. We put out free content, and that thing has just now got to a whole nother level. We just hit 4,000 subscribers. I know to a lot of people that's not a lot, but everything I've done is all organic, no paid ads, no nothing.
Yeah.
I've never like pushed no videos. So to hit almost $4,000 off pure authenticity and organic, man, I'm geeked up about that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so that's how we started this thing, and that's where we at.
Plus, you have a smaller pool to choose from that wants to watch like
roofing content.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you something that actually we talked about at dinner last night. If you take the roofing aspect out of it and look at the door knocking aspect, it does apply to a lot of different industries. My wife's a realtor, and like there are people that make a shitload of money and sell a shitload of houses by knocking doors. And so you could take that content
absolutely interchangeable with different industries. I'm from the alarm industry, and 100% the same ideas, concepts would work in that environment.
And that's why I try to teach the principles.
Right.
Yeah.
And not just like roofing this, roofing that, roofing this.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's geared towards roofing, but it's like these principles apply to multiple markets.
And that's what we've talked about before. Like a lot of the things we do, like we use roofing because we have a roofing business, but we use that as an example a lot in our podcast. But all of it, like he came from alarms and I came from a different industry, and all the stuff that we do came from other places. It's all interchangeable information.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, when you're on a winning team, you know, and you figure out the principles of a winning team, it doesn't matter what game you're playing. It's you have those principles down, and you can win. You can absolutely win.
And right now, I'm reading Principles by Ray Dalio, and that's what he talks about. Like, he took principles from the stock market, and then people pay him for those principles to apply them to any arena that they in. Yeah,
it's it's really interesting. A lot of the stuff that you talk about is it was funny actually. Somebody was like, "Man, Dashaun, he's got a lot of cool sayings, kind of like you do," and I was like, "Yeah, they're really similar, aren't they?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "You know why? Because we read the same books, and you can tell. And you might say some things a little bit different than I say them or whatever, but it's a concept from a book that I know that you read, the same book that I read." And I think that even down to one of the things that you talked about, the difference between you today and you 5 years from now are the people that you meet and the books that you read, which we talk about on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And so whether it is roofing, whether it is another industry, how are you investing into yourself, and who are you associating with? Because you're gonna be like that, and your income is gonna be like that as well.
100%. And I think most humans, let's say most humans, because I don't want to say all, most humans,
right?
They think it's mumbo jumbo. They're like, "Oh yeah, everybody just say that. Oh, everybody say that." And it's like they see people like yourselves that built successful businesses and they doing well, and they're like, "Man, what's the difference between me and him?" And it's like, "Well, I read, you don't." You know what I'm saying? I hang around people who talk about ideas and not people. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I hang around people who are watching documentaries or bringing people who bring value to my life, and not people who just bring stress and anxiety, and people who always got their hand out, but actually people who pour into my cup versus who taking out of my cup. Versus most people, they hang around people that just talk about other people, drama. Right. Like my sister, I love my sister to death, but every time I talk to her, it's about somebody who died or some drama that's going on. And it's like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people don't value the relationships in their life, and they do, but they're so emotionally tied to their relationships, it's difficult for them to give friends up.
Yeah. It definitely is.
And I think you need to be able to be in a circle where you can talk about the ideas and then your dreams and your goals and the things that you want to do, because certain people that don't have those same things, you may sound kind of like an asshole or something too. Like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And like, that's all he ever talks about is these things.
Or you're a boaster.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And in reality, somebody that has those same ideas and dreams and goals will see that and will collaborate with you instead.
Yeah. This all kind of boils back to, I think you not only do you have to invest in yourself, but you also have to, I'll say this the way that you said this the other day. I really liked it, and actually we mentioned it in a podcast that we had. Everyone wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to be able to take criticism and feedback. And I think that's why some people don't hang around other people that are maybe at a higher income level than them, or maybe a little bit further along in their education or something along those lines, because sometimes it can feel awkward to be the kind of the least in the room, if I say that with air quotes. And I don't necessarily believe that, because I think that everybody has greatness within them. Agreed. But you understand where I'm coming from, right? And so sometimes it can be uncomfortable to be, like I said, kind of, let me just say, at the bottom of a totem pole in a room. But you've got to have that kind of pressure and that kind of influence around you, because I promise you can't help but be lifted up by those types of people.
I was going to say, I would love to be the bottom of the totem pole in the room. Like, that's the room I want to be in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a friend of mine that would always say, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I am not in the right room.
I need a new room.
I need a new room. Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of being able to travel around the country. It's like, okay, like within my circle, the people I hang out with, I probably make the most amount of money. But then I go meet other business owners, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just dropped a couple $100,000 on this," and I'm like, "For real?" Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Okay, I ain't at that level yet. Well, I can drop a couple $100,000 on this." Yeah. And it's like, okay, these are the people I want to hang around. Like, I don't know if y'all know Jim Aline, Roofer Marketers.
I do not.
So they own a company called Roofer Marketers, and they just sold it. It got bought by Job Nimbus. I don't know if y'all seen that announcement, but Job Nimbus just bought them. And we went to dinner a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Dashaun, man, you need to do the equity play." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, the equity play?" He's like, "You need to find a roofing company that want to sell, find a way to get involved, grow it to a certain level, get like 2% equity, and when they sell it, You get 2% of, whatever the company is built. And I'm like, wow. Like that never even crossed my mind. You know what I'm saying? To even think about that, because I'm thinking about like, doing my trainings and growing and doing stuff like that. But it's like when you get people like that in your circle, that's the type of information that you get that your friends and family can't give you because they don't live in that world.
Right.
Like Adam Bisman, a good friend of mine, John Cenac, a good friend of mine. So like we have different conversations.
John Cenac, another Indiana guy.
Yeah. That's my dude.
Yeah.
And a year ago, like I wasn't hanging with these type of people. So that's the beauty of coming doing this. Now I got 2 new people. Well, in reality, like 20 new people that I just added to my circle.
Right.
And now I got, you 2 guys that I can call now and have conversations with, vice versa. And it's like, that's the beauty of doing this stuff. You always got to build your own table, right? And then choose who you want to sit at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Speaking of our cool built table, where's that bow tie that we've got?
Oh, yeah, right there. One there and one there.
Yeah, there it is right there. You see we got some bow ties cut in the table right there?
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
You've got a really cool self-talk that you go about, and you actually have a phrase. So, and I love this kind of thing. So I think that it's important for people to have some things figured out, written down, and on paper. I always tell people that my why, what I do, is because I'm called to help people maximize their full potential. That is why Adam does what he does. I love this business. I could care less about roofs. I love the people in this business. I could care less about synthetic underlayment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The components of roofs.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not sexy.
Exactly. But that said, so I've got this. But you've got a mantra in a self-talk that you say. Give us what that is, and just a little bit about what that means for you.
Yeah. So the first one is when I'm in the field, and is young homeowners are eager to talk to me. They like my vibe. They want to join my tribe. Business booming so much I can't stop them from getting inspections. And when we get inspections, we're going to get the roof bought. So I say that about anywhere between like 8 to 10 times when I'm out there knocking doors. And what it does is it keeps me from going down the rabbit hole of negativity.
Yeah.
Which is, man, nobody don't want my help. Man, it ain't no damage out here. Man, it's hot. Man, my feet hurt. Like going down all these things, I over trump that negative thinking with this positive self-talk. And now as I say that, whether you believe in manifestation or energy, whatever it is, now that's what I'm pulling towards me versus the negative stuff where I'm talking about the negative stuff and then that's what I get more of. It's a guy on y'all team, I won't say no names, but he don't like knocking doors. Nick. And I say, huh?
Nick.
But I tell him, I say, life gives you who you are, not what you want. And
Right.
I say, what you mean? I say, if you don't like people knocking on your door, if you don't want to give people the time at your door, why would you ever experience any of that when you knocking a door?
Right.
I said, what I need you to do is let somebody sell you the next time they come to your house. Just let somebody pitch you. Because now it's going to shift the energy around you because now you're starting to get what you are right now, what you want. So that's one mantra. And the other one is I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. I'm a pro. Every day I'm taking steps to move my family forward, changing lives everywhere I go, making connections to get keys to open new doors. I'm a millionaire. And I say that one about 30 times a day. And I learned that from one of my coaches. And it's funny because when he makes me say it, he makes me put a cadence on it.
Okay.
Like I just can't say it. It gotta come from the gut. It gotta sound good. It gotta have some rhythm. It got this. And he'll make me say about like anywhere between like 5 to 8 times. And the 8th one, he like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
I like that. Stay right there. Right. So I those are my 2 mantras. And I highly encourage people to make mantras all the time because as you start to say these things, you start to live these things.
Right.
And Henry Ford said it, right? Whether you think you're right or wrong, either way you're right?
Yeah.
So I've just tried to program myself to be the most positive person I can be. I'm so positive to the point where it's sickening to people. Like they don't like it. They're like, man, you don't never have bad days. And I'm like, nope. I have bad moments. Great days though.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that because they want you to live in their like negativity. They want you to live in their like uncertainty. And it's like, no, I don't live that way, man. I'm excited every day to be up. And it's because I program myself to think a certain type of way.
That reminds me of, I went to a talk to see, was it Jason Redman? Is that his name? If I messed that up, sorry. I'm pretty sure that's it though. But he was a Navy SEAL. And
Is that dude that made Make Your Bed?
what is it?
Did he write the book Make Your Bed?
Maybe No Bad Days is his mantra.
Gotcha.
He wrote 3 or 4 books. I don't know all of them. I got the first one, but I mean that's his thing. He's like, look, he told this whole story, you know, and not to get into the whole military thing, but I mean, this is the why. He's like, he was out there, Navy SEAL team. They got caught in an ambush. He got shot in the face, like arm here, like 8 times. He's out there dying. His team's like fighting everybody. And fortunately, they had some Blackhawks that came in and like took care of some business, and then they were able to get him out and saved his life. They won the fight. But he's like, next time you're having a bad day and you're like, Monday sucks. Monday fucking sucks, you know. And this night, he's like, think about like what a real bad day is. He's like, as I was laying there dying, like all I thought was, I didn't think about anything else but my family and like these things, the things that really mattered to me. And you know, like, so next time you're like, your kid spills some cereal in the milk, or somebody rear ends your new car, but everybody's okay. You know what I mean? Like, just dings it, or like, there's no such thing as a bad day when it comes to those type of first world problems. You know what I mean?
I agree. 110%.
Yeah. He did not write "Make Your Bed."
He didn't.
I did check that up. That is a, you know, it's so key. Number one, your thoughts determine your actions.
100%.
Your actions determine your habits. Your habits are the character of who you are.
Yep.
And I talk about that quite a bit. And it's really interesting that as humans, for whatever reason, we have almost a natural ability to be negative. And so you have to fight against it. And I think that that's a key that a lot of people miss. And that's why these mantras in focusing on positive self-talk is so key. And I've had to learn this more in the last probably 5 years than I ever have in my life. I'm a naturally positive person. Just kind of always have been, and you know, always, you know,
Glass half full kind of guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It was really interesting. So my dad's kind of on the other side of that. We'll joke around. One time we were talking, he was like, Adam, you know, I know you're a glass half full. And this is literally what I said. I know you're a glass half full kind of guy. And you think that I'm a glass half empty kind of guy. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, it's not that. It's just that I wonder, I see that the glass is half full, but I wonder, why isn't it all the way full? And like, he goes into this big diatribe, and it was, you know, it made me chuckle kind of thing. But, I had to go through some things and even get caught up in a little bit of some depression on some stuff that I had going on professionally and all that kind of stuff in a way that I'd never felt before, and I never thought that I would even get to that level. And it was really tough. I mean, there was moments where, you know, I'm a pretty strong dude mentally, and I mean, there was moments where it was really, really tough. You know, just I even have to like call my dad or my sister who both kind of work through some of these things, and so I knew how to mentally kind of get past it, and I would just call them and like be sobbing and stuff like that. It was really, really weird, being really vulnerable here for just a minute here.
Sort of power.
Yeah, and so with that though, you know, a couple things that I learned was it is super important to. You said this the other day, you have to think about what you're thinking about, right? So number one, you've got to take control of your thoughts. And having those mantras or those self-talk, those moments are incredibly key at that moment. And then I also kind of realized that I think that God kind of let me go through some of that stuff just so I could have a little bit more compassion, because I think a lot of people do go through depression nowadays. A lot of people are going through some harder mindset shifts and things like that because of, you know, social media and all that kind of stuff. You're comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel and all that kind of stuff, and it gets tough. But having those things are incredibly important.
I think we are naturally like lean towards assuming like the worst and negative just from like the fight or flight things that we've developed over thousands of years. Like the amygdala like makes you assume the worst about stuff so you didn't get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so I think it's now we've got to mentally focus on shifting those, because your brain does go, you know, these ways. And you know, I'm reading a book right now that talks like that.
What's the book?
It's imposter syndrome, actually. Because,
I've never heard that. That sounds like a good book.
And so it's one of those. It's actually not. That's about imposter syndrome, but it's imposter something. I can't remember the name of it actually. But it's talking about that, because like sometimes, and I don't have it bad, but like sometimes I'll be up there and I'll just like have this flash, like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, why is anybody listening to me? And then, you know, but it's all the way that your brain's been hardwired. Because of these things that you've developed over the years. And so, I mean, it's really cool to kind of get into the psychology of, and the breakdown of all of that.
I think I had a few run-ins with the imposter syndrome, just because as the brand blew up and I'm flying around the country.
Yeah.
And I always sometimes I catch myself, I'm like, man, why are people listening to me? Because I'm like, I don't own a roofing company. You know what I'm saying? Like, I deal with that. But I always have to remind myself, it's like, you don't have to own a roofing company. I've just worked with people for so long that I kept the canvassing team for 2.5 years. Do you know how hard it is to keep a canvassing team?
Yeah.
They weren't even salespeople. They just canvassed. I kept them for 2.5 years. So I be having to remind myself, like, I paid enough dues to be here.
And that's what I do the same thing, man. I'm like, I go through, and I'm like, man, I did, marketing for 16 years with my family, and that's what I got really good at, which helped blow this company up. When I paid my dues and I learned everything about roofing, I worked 16-hour days doing everything. And so you just kind of got to pull yourself back sometimes and, look at the facts of things.
Well, one thing I was saying a second ago about just like the negativity, since Adam and Eve, whether you believe it or not, we naturally was programmed to focus on the lack.
Yeah.
And not all the stuff we had. Like God put him in the Garden of Eden. He said, make you eat from all these trees.
Yep.
But this one.
Yeah.
And all they could focus on was the one tree that they couldn't eat off of.
Right.
They didn't say, man, I got all of this abundance around me. Look at all this great stuff around me. Let me focus on that. They're like, I want that. I focus on the stuff I can't have.
Yeah.
So we as humans, naturally, we focus on our lack. We always focus on what we don't have.
Yeah.
Like your wife could do 80% of things great, and you focus on that 20% that she don't do.
Yeah, it's the grass is greener type of deal.
It's not Aaron and I, but some guys for sure.
Yeah, not you guys.
Yeah.
Not y'all.
Honey, you're perfect.
Y'all focus on all that 80%. You know what I mean? That 20% don't matter. But we as humans will do that. We'll focus on that lack. So in order for me to not dive deep onto the lack, that's why I got the mantras to get me focused back on all the abundance and all the great stuff.
Yeah, and I think some of that, some of that is even just because you got to be careful where and who you put your trust in, right? And so, that's a great example I love talking about with the Adam and Eve story, because there was just one spot that you just had to trust God, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a lot of that in our lives too, where like there's a lot that you can do and a lot that you can overcome, and then sometimes you just got to trust. You just got to trust God even. And,
that's how I feel about the brand. So I believe visions come vertical. Right? Like
visions come vertical.
Visions come vertical.
It's the imposter cure. I had to Google it just in case of people. Yeah.
Oh, the book?
Yeah.
Got it.
So I believe God give you visions, right? And then if you don't do nothing with them, he give it to somebody else. So they come vertical. Because like Roof Hustlers, I saw it like plain as day. Like it was like instant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it, boom. So I got to work on it immediately. Like I didn't really know what was gonna happen, but like you said, I just trusted it. Mm-hmm. And then as I went out there, put out episodes and stayed consistent, it just blew, and it blew up in ways that I couldn't even imagine. Like in the 6 years, what we've done is like we have no website. Like we don't do no marketing, we don't do no SEO, we don't do nothing. And I've trained over, like I said, 100 companies in the last 3 years, landed a partnership with one of the biggest shingle manufacturers in the country, trained supply companies, all of these people. And it's like, all it came from me just like trusting that is going to
work. Well, I think that you got to remember that's a testament to the value that you bring in. And I'm not blowing smoke because you're a guest in here. You're in here. Like I truly enjoyed everything that I heard from there so far. That I was surprised that it went that deep. So
thank you, man.
Props to you on that.
I mean a lot.
And building an awesome systems.
100%. Like you said though, man. I do the sowing, he do the growing, man. I take no credit for this stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tell us a little bit about your family. I know that's a huge part of your life.
Yeah. Shout out to the gang. That's what I call them. It's funny, I'll be in places and I'll be like, come on, gang. And like people will be like, but I got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And shout out to their mom as well. Me and the kids and mom, phenomenal woman. But got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. My son named Richard Rashawn. We call him Ray Ray. And my daughter named Mila. And they the reason why I do everything that I do, man. I remember my first year in the industry, I wouldn't even have babysitters. And like, I used to do some questionable things as a parent. Like I would run an appointment. My son on the way to the appointment, he fall asleep. I'm like, bet we gonna blast the AC. So we'll pull up to the house. I blast the AC, run in the house with paperwork. And I'm like, yeah, what we need to do only take like 25 minutes. I go in there, file a claim. I'm like, I forgot my business card. I run back out to the car, be like, he's still asleep. All right, he's still asleep. Run back in the house, get the paperwork signed, and like I'm getting in the car to leave, and he like just now popping up, and I'm like, whoa, perfect timing, right? But nah, man, my kids are just like a big part of this journey. They the only reason I got into this industry because we didn't want to do daycare.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out a way to be able to stay home with them and do opposite schedules. So my kids are big catalysts in my life. Like, my son was born February 4th. Closed my first deal February 6th. I started Roof Hustles May 17th. My daughter was born May 22nd. So, like, they big, like, catalysts in my life to what I'm doing. So, everything I do is always about my gang and making sure their life is better and making sure, like, I was talking to one of the guys and I'm like, man, why do you do this? It's like, I take care of my family. I was like, so anytime you don't like about something that's going on, focus on that, not this. Like, focus on them, because that's why you do this anyways. You don't do this for the owners. You don't do it for you do it for your babies. So I always remember that everything I do, I focus on them. But I love them kids to death, man. My daughter going to be a salesperson, 110%. 110%. She's already a high-level negotiator at 6 years old. It is nuts, man.
Kids are good at negotiating. Well, some
Yes.
kids are good at negotiating.
Yeah, no,
There's some funny stories when it comes to that.
Slick,
yeah.
man. And they're all so different, man. We kind of talked about
Yeah,
that.
if it's me and Aaron was talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, every single one is like, I got 3. They don't even have the same color hair, let alone personality.
That blew
Like,
my mind.
yeah.
When I seen that,
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I got a brunette, a blonde, and a ginger.
is
But yeah,
nuts.
this Willow, the middle one,
Yeah.
the tall one, man, she's the salesperson of the family.
Did she put you in a rear naked chokehold just out of curiosity?
No.
Okay, you're lucky.
I was new. They was like, they standoffish. They're like, who is this guy? By the end of the night, though, they was all in. They was,
Yeah, that's funny.
No, she'll be slick one, man. She'll be like, hey, do you mind if I pick out some candy for my sister and take it home to her?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, not for me.
Yeah,
It's for my sister. I'm just trying to do her a favor. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, man. So
That's
no,
hilarious.
that's really cool. They're about the same age, as yours, and it's a fun age.
It is. My daughter hit me with this one. She said, I'm going to ask you a question and you can't say no. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, that's not how this works. No, Daddy, you can't say no. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you then. Okay. And then she asked me the question, and it's just funny. I'm like, at 6 years old, how can you control the dynamic of the conversation at that level? And her teacher always say, well, Mila was telling the class what to do today. She was directing, and I'm like, this sounds like my daughter. That's what she is. So she gonna be a natural leader, and my son is just the most like compassionate, considerate little dude you ever meet. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts. Like, so you know how when your kid throw a fit, you just leave. You know what I'm saying? Like your daughter, like you're like, all right, whatever, we just finna leave, and you just like walk out the grocery store or whatever, and they just like slowly trail behind you.
Yeah.
Like my daughter the other day, she was at school throwing a fit, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go. My son like, no, Daddy, we can't leave Mila. I'm like, no, we finna go. He's like, okay, how about we take 5 steps and then we see if she gonna come. I'm like, no, that ain't how it go. Bro, we just leave it. And it's just funny because he will not leave his sister for nothing in the world.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Good for him, though.
Nah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? That's awesome. It's good to have that lookout.
Yeah, great big brother, man. Great. I got awesome kids, man. I love them. They definitely ain't half as bad as I was. I got kicked out of pre-K for cursing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
I say that all the time. Every time I get really annoyed with my kids, I'm like, what was I doing at their age? Oh, yeah. They're all right.
Yeah.
They good. 8 years old, I was stealing. Like, man, we was in the streets. We was doing all types of stuff. We was throwing fireworks in people's houses. Like, we was bad.
Adam still does that.
Yeah.
Wait, there's something wrong with that?
And my kids just want to play on the Switch and watch YouTube. But I'm like, if that's my biggest obstacle, I'm good.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. That's always my measuring tool. Like, what was I doing? Okay.
You ever heard,
Chill out.
you talk about cussing in preschool and getting kicked out. You ever hear Kevin Hart talking about when his mom gave him permission to cuss that one time at the teacher? Dude, it's so funny. We'll have to watch it after this. It's hilarious.
Man, my daughter did that to me the other day. She said, Daddy, is bitch a bad word? And I'm like, what? yeah, don't be saying that. I'm just saying. I'm like, no, don't just be saying. Like, yeah, it's a bad word.
Oh, my God. I cuss. I can't help it. And I can't help it, but I don't care. And so my kids have heard stuff. They know not to cuss, but when Amory was like 3 or something, she didn't know yet. And she was trying to get in our room. And she goes, hey, I was trying to get in the door. She goes, open the fucking door, Mommy.
Oh, my God.
And Whitney opens the door. She goes, what did you say? And she thought she was in trouble for her tone. She said, open the fucking door, Mommy. And so we're like, oh, no. You can't say that.
Oh, my
Don't say
goodness.
that.
That's terrible.
That would have made my day. That would have made my day.
I was like, it's not the tone, honey. It's not the tone.
That makes me that reminds me of, what was that story? It was last Easter where they wanted to get up and get their Easter baskets or whatever.
Yeah.
And Willow, they know that they're not supposed to wake you up like before a certain time or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I know because she does it at Christmas. Like she'll wake us up at like 5. And Willow's the middle one, right?
Yeah.
The tall one, the one with she's the most stubborn kid ever. Well, I said, Willow, do not wake us up at 5 a.m. like you did at Christmas. Like we want to sleep a little bit. The Easter Bunny came, we'll check it out when we get up, right? She is in there probably just losing her mind. You know what I mean? Because she woke up, Easter Bunny came, and I think she waited till 7. At 7, I heard her knock.
She's like, this has got to be fair game now.
She knocks. Ignored her. Acted like nothing was going on. About 10 minutes later, come back. Woke me up. I was dead asleep. I was so tired. It was like the first day off I had in a long time. And I went out there. I said, that's it, Willow. I told you not to. Grabbed her and I swatted her ass. And I stopped like sleep in my eye. I said, wait till we wake up. And I go back in and I lay down. I'm awake after you actually woke up. You know what I mean? So I'm just laying there like getting my shit together. And then I realize it. I was like, I swatted her ass, and she had some shit stuff down in there.
Just in a pillow.
Like, she
was ready for it.
She knew what she was risking, and she shoved like some magazines down her pants, and then came and knocked on the door anyway. And then I swatted her, but my brain hadn't woke up, so I didn't catch it until later. I was like, that motherfucker.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, dude.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
She's slick, man. She's slick.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
What kind of things do you guys like to do for fun? Like what's your play harder side of things?
Harder deal?
You talking about me and the gang or me personally?
All of it.
All of it.
My gang Jumpaholics. So we love to do it, rock out at like Airheads or this is a place called Urban Air.
Is that like
my kids love that.
the moonwalk place or whatever?
Yeah, but this place is a little bit different. So they like it's like the trampoline place, but they got like the trampoline place. They got like VR. They got everything you can do. And since I don't work a normal job, we like party hard on weekdays.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm on the road
Get the
Thursday.
place to
Less
yourself.
traffic, man.
Exactly. So it's like a Tuesday afternoon, and we at Urban Air, just like going ham for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we love to do that. Go to Urban Air. We big on Nerf gun fights. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, heavy arsenal.
Okay.
Like you go to the crib, I mean, we strapped up from the pistols to the machine guns to the rifles to the shotguns, like everything. And my daughter just got to the level to where she can cock them, so it's like game over. You know what I'm saying?
You show them no mercy, of course.
Oh,
I'm
not
assuming.
at all. And they heavy shooters. Like there's no ounce of like scary in them. Like one time my daughter walked up to me and she's like, you know what, Daddy, I'm done. And I'm like, okay. And she said, "Bow!" And she just shot me and ran. And we use like the rival guns, not just like a regular Nerf bullets. We use the balls,
the round ones.
Yeah, the round ones. So we got the big ones, and then we got the little ones. So we'll go ham for like a solid 20 minutes. We set a timer, and I mean it's like
Yeah.
Call of Duty like at the crib. I mean, hiding behind the walls and I mean,
That's fantastic.
pretty intense.
That's awesome, man.
And they love to skate, all that good stuff. But our guilty pleasure, man, we'll Nerf gun it up heavy.
That's cool.
Heavy.
That's cool. How about you personally? When adult time?
I'm a casino guy, man. That's my
really?
thing. Yeah, I love to bet, love to gamble, because we natural risk takers. And when me and my kids, the mom separated, it was like I had more alone time than I'm typically used to. So I'm like, man, I gotta do something. I don't work a normal job no more. I don't knock doors all day no more. So I'm like, I'm done with my day like at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? You know what I'm saying? So I hit the casino for like an hour or so. Love to gamble, and not in an addictive way, but in more like a fun pastime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've never gambled bills or nothing away. It's just very fun. And outside of that,
Are you actually going there for fun, or are you one of these kinds of guys that's like, you got some calculations rolling around in your mind and be like, okay, I'm going to, like, are you a serious gambler, or are you just going there just kind of laughing and having fun and all that kind of thing?
I would say I laugh and have fun, but the goal is to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I was at the casino before I came up here, and I went in there with like $260, and I left with $1,500. So it's like, the goal is to win.
What's your game?
I like the blackjack. Just learn how to play craps.
Okay.
Craps is a lot. The thing is, like, you can win a lot, but like you can put all your money out there, then lose it. Like one roll too. Like that sucks.
Yeah. The thing I like about craps though is your money can last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, long as they don't hit that number,
As long as they don't hit it. Yeah.
you still chilling. So, but yeah, love that, and I work out all the time, read, study, all that like that boring stuff. But my guilty pleasure, I like to gamble, and I would say that's really it, man. I don't got too many. Yeah. I'm usually on the road or home with my kids.
Yeah, a lot, man. Especially if you trained 38 companies last year. I'm assuming you're probably slated for more this year.
Yep. I got 10 more lined up after this.
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, so by the graces of God. What about y'all? What's y'all?
I'll tell you what, man. Well, his is going to be one of mine now too. I've roped him in, even though he'd been doing it since he was a kid. But we have some property. I've been riding 4-wheelers since I was a kid. My mom bought me a 4-wheeler, like a 90, one of the small ones when I was a little kid. And then in 93, which I would have been 10, she bought a Honda 300, I think it was, 4x4, so a big one, full-size one, which I wrecked immediately. I slammed it right into the back of somebody else because I wasn't paying attention. But I've been riding 4-wheelers since I was a little kid, and now my kids ride 4-wheelers. Now, Amory, little Ginger that you met, she's 5, just smashing 4-wheelers around our yard. All 3 of my girls ride 4-wheelers. My oldest daughter rides a horse too. We have a horse. So kind of the stuff that I grew up doing, it's now cool seeing that they enjoy doing it too. And I bought some properties so we can all go out and do these things
and
together.
Just go dog them.
Just go do it together.
Yeah.
And then go cook some stuff over the open fire, eat.
That's dope.
There's a little creek that runs through it so they can go when it's hot.
Little house on the prairie. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. I think one of my favorite things to do is to sit around an open fire. You mentioned cooking over an open fire. Just to sit around an open fire. What's really cool.
It always tastes better. I don't know.
It tastes better, but also what's going to be cool, and don't fix this, is there's no cell phone reception down there.
Yeah.
And that is...
Here's the problem.
It's tough. I know it.
I would like to be down there a little bit more, but like I gotta be accessible. So
for sure,
maybe we flip it on and off. We get like Starlink,
Starlink
Wi-Fi, and have like a time zone for it. You know what I mean? We'll see. As of now, it doesn't exist, so I might not fix it.
Yeah. No, but I think, man, there's just something about being able to unplug. And I'm, by the way, terrible at this. Like my wife and kids will make fun of me for this part of the conversation because I'm terrible at it. But being able to unplug is super key.
That is the one thing you said, like, don't fix it because you can't not unplug there currently.
Right.
Like, you can't get signal. Sorry about you.
Yeah.
Like, you drive up to the road and head down to the dead end and go this way. Might be able to grab a bar down there, one bar.
I think it's nice to be inaccessible sometimes, man. We went to Costa Rica for my birthday last year, and it just felt great because it was like, once I ran out of out the country data, like you couldn't do nothing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It just felt nice to only take pictures and just be there.
Yeah.
Like I'm big on being in the moment because I got a bad habit of not taking pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do too because we just go so much and so fast that I got a bad habit of that too.
It's just nice to be there, and people are like, oh, you got no pictures, and I'm like, nah, you kind of had to be there.
Yeah.
So I've been getting really good at unplugging and just, especially the first few hours of my day, I can rock out no people.
The pictures are cool, but they never do it justice.
Never do it justice.
Never do it. Like we went to Lake Tahoe, and I look at the pictures later, I'm like, nah. Like the view at Lake Tahoe, looking over there in winter with the dude, there's nothing that you could.
It's funny though because you've shown me those pictures and dude, it has nothing compared to actually being there. And I'm like, the picture's freaking awesome. I've never been to Lake Tahoe.
It is awesome, and it ain't shit compared to the actual view.
Y'all ever seen that clip of, it's either LeBron in the finals or somebody in the finals, and they're shooting a game-winning 3, and the whole crowd got their phone out, except for this little old lady, and she just sitting there, and she just watching the game.
Yeah.
And it's she just soaking in that moment, just being there while everybody else on their phone. And it's
looking at it through a screen.
You don't even get to see the 3. You trying to now you look up and the shot gone, and it's it ain't the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to be in the moment with stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's super hard to do. I do find myself where it's a little bit easier to do that when I'm with my family, just the 4 of us. like I don't stress as much. I've got teenage kids that are driving and all that kind of stuff, and so like I get a little panicky if I'm away from them and not by a phone, that kind of thing. But or even when I'm traveling or whatever, and my wife being around. But so I love doing all outdoor stuff. Like I said, 2 teenage sons, so we do the 4-wheelers and all that kind of stuff. We've got a boat too, so we spend a lot of weekends and a lot of time out skiing and tubing and wakeboarding and all that kind of stuff.
Skiing up here?
Not me. Water skiing.
Oh,
water
okay.
skiing.
I know you can ski in Indiana.
No, there is a couple of ski places, ski places here.
Do y'all ski?
I water ski.
I've never
snow ski.
I'll snow
Stop
ski.
playing. You ain't never been on the slopes.
No, I want to go. You want to go?
Of course.
Are you good at it?
I'm decent.
Okay, we can go with you. You'll be fine because I learned in like a day.
Yeah.
I'm
by the way,
an excellent water skier. It can't be that much different.
It's way different.
Yeah, I don't know. I suck at water skiing.
The boat pull you on water skiing, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about skiing on the slope is the hardest part for me was once I was going, I was like, oh shit, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you got a pizza, right? I had a friend tell me this.
Got a pizza,
right?
dude. You got a pizza.
That was you, actually.
That was me.
It sound good until you got a pizza. Until you going down that hill and you gotta try the pizza. Yeah, nah, man. We was up in Breckenridge. We did an event up there, and the last day we all went skiing. And one of the biggest lessons I learned about skiing was like, when I fall, I want to fall hard.
Yeah,
because I want to pop out my skis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when you still in them skis and you falling, it's
twist
scary.
your ankle and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm like, let me just pop out of them so I can roll normal.
Right.
And I get up and go get them wherever they at. But yeah, it took me. I fell like 6 times before I got it.
Okay.
And I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, we took the slope down. And I'll tell you what, the first time I ever went out with Mark, and it took a while, but by the end of the day, I was like, I even did the medium hill once.
Yeah.
Right? And now this is Indiana medium hills, not Colorado medium hills. Those are 2 different flavors.
Wait,
but I feel like that's the other thing too, is I don't want to ski in Indiana because you're basically just skiing on ice. Because they do a lot of fake snow and all that.
No, you got to go in like legit snow.
Yeah, where it's nice and powdery and all that.
I will tell you, by the end of the day, which we were about 5 hours out there, dude, my legs were cashed.
Oh, I'll bet.
Cashed.
You done.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I was.
I watched this video just the other night. It was this dude that was it was a skier following a snowboarder, and they were kind of like backcountry kind of stuff, and they didn't even know
when
each
the dude
other.
Was buried?
Yeah, and like he goes over this little hill, and then he falls, and the skier goes past him, and he's like, "What was that?" And you could barely just see a little bit of the dude's snowboard, and he takes his skis off and goes running up there, and basically just in the nick of time unburies this guy's face. He's like literally upside down in this.
He's like 4 feet, 5 feet of snow.
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude, I would have had a heart attack and died.
And the dude just down there chilling.
Yeah.
Like when he dig him out, he like, how you doing? He's like, I'm good, man.
Well, I don't think he could move his arms because he basically just had like his mouth and his eyes. It was like just this much that was uncovered. And he's like, "You okay?" And the dude's just like, "You okay?" Because he just like got done digging with his hands for 4 or 5 feet. Like it was crazy.
It was nuts. I seen that, man. He saved that dude's life because he definitely was gonna die.
No doubt. If they weren't together, or if he would have not noticed that little bit of his snowboard, he would have.
He'd have been done.
No one would ever heard from him again.
But skiing was fun, man. I had a great time.
You want to go snow skiing, Durango?
I love that.
We tried to take Durango water skiing. 2 things we learned about Durango. Well, actually, same thing, but just 2 different examples. Is Durango's a liar. So when he started here, we were like, "Hey, this job's gonna require you to get on some roofs and stuff like that. Are you afraid of heights or anything?" He's like, "Man, I was military. I'm not afraid of heights." I'll show you the video of him getting on a ladder the first time. I've got that on my phone.
The old shaky leg.
Actually, if we could just put that clip right here.
He's like, "Oh, I don't have that. That file is corrupt."
I've got it, and I've got it back up and back up and back up.
That's hilarious.
So that, and then the other thing was, he came with us out on the boat one time last year. And we're like, "Can you swim?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep my life jacket on, but I can swim." Buddy can't swim. Buddy couldn't hardly stay afloat with a life jacket on. Am I wrong?
Am I wrong? Kinda.
We looked up. There was a little bit of a current in this lake that we were in, and we looked up, and Durango was like 10 feet away from the boat, and he was like, "Guys!" It was fantastic.
Was everybody just like chilling in the water, or he was like getting ready to ski?
No, everybody was just chilling in the water, but he kind of started to drift away from the boat a little bit. It was awesome.
So you got to know your boundaries, man. Like I can swim, but I'm not an ocean swimmer.
Yeah.
I'm a pool swimmer.
I'm not either because sharks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We weren't in the ocean, Durango. That's called a lake.
Yeah, we were in Geist, buddy.
Reservoir.
My thing is, if I can't go underwater and hit my feet to the bottom to bounce back up,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
So that's a little rough.
Yeah, I stay within my boundaries.
Have you ever been snorkeling or anything?
Nah. But I could swim.
I'll tell
Okay.
you, I went scuba diving for the first time, and this goes along with what you're saying. I went down, and I freaked out to go down, and I was like breathing in too much because I was afraid to run out of air.
So you started breathing more?
I was like trying to hold all the oxygen in my
gotcha.
lungs so I wouldn't go down. And the dude came up and like worked me down the rope or whatever. And I finally and then I realized I was like, man, I'm cool. Like, cause I could see the sunlight in Cancun, like up here, I'm like 25, 30 feet down. And I'm like, if my thing shits out on me, like I can get up there.
I can get up there.
I'm done. I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
Zoop, right up. So I was just cruising down the bottom. I was like, going around. I took my mask off, took a couple pictures. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. But everybody else started freaking out down there when they were like, they went down with no problem. So I don't know what that's about. But to your point, like, I think you're fine unless it's like 150 feet, man.
Yeah.
Like you can have 10, 15, 20 foot and be totally fine.
As long as I know I can bounce myself up.
Yeah.
I did a Savage race. Y'all ever had of a Savage race? Like it's like the 6 miles and it's like 14 obstacle courses.
Oh, yeah, kind of like a
Tough Mudder or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they had this one called Davy Jones Locker.
Okay.
You jump off like a 20-foot drop and you just jump to like a body of water.
Okay.
So, it's like 30, 40 people like all doing this at one time because you coming in waves.
Yeah.
And I get there and, I jump. Boom. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh, shit, it ain't no bottom. It ain't no bottom. And I'm like, oh, time to come back up. But then you got all these bodies around you trying to do the same thing. Luckily, they got lifeguards out there.
I was gonna say that could be like somebody jump on top of someone.
Exactly.
That's a little sketchy.
Luckily, one of them saw me. He just lift me up real quick, and I'm like, I'm good. And I like swim to the edge, and I'm like, yeah, I need to know I can touch the bottom, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
That is rough. I have a friend that he used to do Ironmans, triathlons, and his daughters actually did it. His daughters were actually the world champions in their age brackets.
No way.
Of triathlons.
That's swimming, biking, running, right?
Yeah, swimming and biking, running. And he was showing me a video. I was like, well, this is like the first time I ever paid attention to a triathlon. I was like, it looks like they're swimming over people. He was like, yeah. He was like, my daughter's in this such and such class where literally they teach you how to, like when somebody pulls you under, how to get on top of them, and then but still like you're trying to advance your position, obviously in the midst of a body of people as well. It's really crazy.
Kevin Costner taught that Coast Guard movie with Ashton Kutcher. You just elbow the shit out of him right in the nose. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It might even be called Coast Guard.
Yeah. It's called the Coast Guard.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher goes in and he's like the swimmer or whatever. He's like, you gotta punch him right in the nose if somebody tries pulling you down.
That'd be real rough. I think I'd get a little panicky.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody tried to pull me under the water or something like
dude,
that.
Well, that's the whole point. When they went out to rescue people, they'd have people that are panicking and they're trying to climb up you.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it. So you got
Yeah, you can't save a drowning
You're
person.
supposed to knock them out and then carry them.
it didn't save them because they're calm.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You're supposed to knock them out.
Trust me. Bop.
I'm doing this for you. Seriously, dude. Right? I'm glad you've seen this so you don't think I'm
This is
crazy.
hilarious. Oh, man.
God.
I hope I don't drown with you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, I won't. You guys know what to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say you won't drown. We'll just punch you in the nose and take you to shore.
Thank you so much. That's true love right there. I appreciate that, brother.
Save a life, baby.
Hey,
my
man, that's
gosh.
awesome. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much. Last thing here as we get to a close, the part in your mantra that I just think is so key in what you look to do is make sure that you make a difference in people's lives everywhere you go.
Changing lives everywhere I go, baby.
Changing lives everywhere I go. That's part of why we do this in this podcast. Is Aaron and I both feel a lot of people have invested into us heavily and have poured into us, and we say it this way, that we would feel selfish by hanging on to this information and not sharing it. And so that's a big part of the reason that we do this. But let me say, and we don't normally do a lot of plugs or anything along those lines, but if you're listening to this and you've got a business, Roof Hustlers, check them out, go online. And let me tell you, it's not just about roofs either. If you are in the alarm business or in any business that has
Solar,
a sales, has sales at all, reach out to Dashaun, at least for a conversation to see what could be possible. Because, again, this is not just a how do you sell a roof. That is not his presentation. His presentation is 100% changing people's lives, and that's really cool. We really appreciate you being here.
So I do want to add something on to that because I know we're about to wrap up. Is when it comes to this industry or just in general, I'm a firm believer that people's lives should be better now that you're involved in it.
Yeah.
So anybody that I run into or anybody you guys hire, I'm sure like y'all got that same perspective of like, now we're responsible for this life. We got to make sure it's better that now we're involved in it. Mm-hmm. So I tell owners that all the time, like, you hire somebody, now it's your job not to bring more stress to their life, but to bring more value and make their life better now that you're involved in it. So that's what I mean by changing lives everywhere I go. Making somebody better now that they connected to me or that they ran into me.
Yeah. I think if everyone thought of that way, how can I make somebody's life better today? Our world would be a better place.
Amen.
100%. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that just live to make my life hard.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
You specifically, not to name names. No, I'm joking.
No, that's awesome. Hey, that'll be our assignment for everyone. You're listening to this. Something today, tomorrow. Do one thing to improve somebody's life. Find somebody, whether you know them well or whether you don't. Make their life a little bit better today.
Man, quick story before we go. So
sure.
we had the gas station. We had the gas station. After I do a presentation on Thursday, we had the gas station. So I go into the gas station. Man, how are you doing? Dude say, how you doing, man? And I'm eating the pizza. I'm like, man, I'm amazing. I'm blessed, baby. He say, you know what, man? I'm blessed too. He's like, man, that pizza look good. I was like, yeah, it's good. He's like, you know what? Now it's probably going to taste even better. It's on the house, man. And he gave me the pizza for free.
Oh, that's cool.
And I go back in the car with Nick, and I'm like, man, the dude gave me the pizza for free. He's like, what? I'm like, you want to know why? He's like, why? I said, because I told him I'm amazing, and I'm blessed.
It really changes things. That's awesome. That's cool.
I love that, man. I do. And it's like, you think about that too, and you're always like, how you're acting, like just smiling. It's different. People will react to you, even just smiling, not even saying the amazing or the blessed or whatever. It's like, Adam too. Sometimes he tends to have resting bitch face when he's in there working, and I catch myself do the same thing. Like I'm working out or whatever. Like I'm just focused and I'm like doing my thing and listening to my stuff. But like, I'm not mad at anybody. People don't talk to me because they're like, this. But like, if you smile and like, hey, I see one of my friends and I smile or whatever, like it's funny how everybody's just view changes. And then all of a sudden you're getting waves and, this, hey, what's up, man? Like I fist bump like 4 people I don't even know there sometimes now. So
yeah. That's a fact. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us again today. Again, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, reach out to somebody, make somebody's life better. That's the assignment for today.
Yep. Somebody, anybody, or 2 people.
Yeah,
3
it
people.
could be 2.
There's no end to it.
There really isn't. If everyone focused on making one person's day a little bit better every single day, that would be amazing.
Everybody would always have a great day.
And we could do it. We could absolutely do it. Dashaun, thank you so much for being here
pleasure,
with our team and also on the podcast. We
Thank
just
you so
really
much for
appreciate it.
having me.
We appreciate who you are and what you brought and the value
Thank you
that you
so
bring.
much.
You've definitely changed my life and Aaron's life, and I know our team as well.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, man. It has been awesome, and I'm looking forward to the next couple days as well.
It's going down.
It's going to be great.
I got my notebook ready.
It's going to be great. Hey, till we meet again, have a great week.